chart.
This is it.
This is the 1843 chart. You know, there were three dates that they had chosen.
Very famous chart.
Yeah. Miller said 1843, 1844, and then they narrowed it down as they got into the time frame. Printing, this was made from 4 different sheets, printed on a broadside print.
I see.
All the color was hand colored, hand done, because they didn't have color presses in those days.
No computer back then.
There were 300 of these charts made. This is one of the originals. So it was quite impressive in that day. No PowerPoint, no Game Boys. So people were very impressed when they saw the Bible come to life like this.
Selamat siang Amerika, selamat malam Indonesia. Nah, sebelum kita balik ke Denver, kita mampir dulu di lokasi yang sangat bersejarah, yaitu di William Miller Farm. Lokasi ini bertempat di Whitehall City, county-nya Hampton di New York. Nah, di sini nih, di rumah sini dan farmnya ini ada batu kekecewaan yang sangat besar. Kayak apa model rumahnya, kayak apa Ascension Rock-nya, ikutin terus ya.
Yes. Well, this is his old home here. I mean, and you can go inside and there's room. I'll show you, and I'll take you up on Ascension Rock and over to the chapel.
Yes.
And then we'll take a brief tour into the house.
Okay.
I'll give you the 5-cent tour.
Yeah. Appreciate your help.
Yes. Let's start here, and let me take you by the barns.
Okay.
Over there, and then we'll end up over here. How about that? So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we start at the barn.
yes, let me.
So your name again?
Jerry Mobley.
Jerry Mobley.
Yes.
Okay. Jerry.
I'm from South Carolina,
Oh,
and I come up whenever I can and volunteer.
that's nice of you.
Yeah, we were doing the cemetery. The county owns the cemetery, but they don't take very good care of it.
So you have to kind
we
of like
said,
help
we'll
him.
take care of the grass if you'll give us some gas money. So it's a good deal for them, and I'll talk and walk since you're
Sure.
This was Miller's house. He moved here in 1815. He and his
1850.
wife Lucy,
Yes.
and they had 10 children total, but
10, wow.
only 8 survived. 2 died. 1 died as a child, and 1 died not long after it was born.
Oh, okay.
The main house, all the bones of the house are original.
Oh,
Siding is replaced. The roof is different. The shutters, the green shutters,
that's the
most
original.
of those were original. We found those
The green
in the
shutter?
storage and
Oh.
were able to restore them.
Oh, that's
The
good.
add-on portion back there was where some of the hired help stayed, and they had a summer kitchen. This barn here, the granary,
Dari.
they stored some things, and they had pigs, sheep,
Pig?
pigs.
Yeah.
William Miller was not a Seventh-day Adventist. He never accepted the Sabbath, in fact,
Yeah.
and he didn't accept he never got in his mind the holy day, most holy day thing.
So this is
would
pretty
you
much
like-
original, huh?
Well, they're original to the time, but they were not original to this farm.
Oh, okay.
You see the name John Deere on some of that equipment, and you may have
Yeah.
heard of Mr. Deere.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
from this area, but he went out to Illinois and Indiana and made all his money.
Oh,
Would you like to see in the barn?
Yes.
yes.
I don't want to.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. Oh.
This is part of the tour. These are original. This was original to Miller's time, but a little later after they moved here.
Okay.
The other 2 or 3 barns were added by his sons.
Oh.
He died in 1849.
Is his son that become SDA?
One son became a Seventh-day Adventist in
Oh,
Chicago
that's nice.
in his old age. That's all that. Joseph Bates, you know Joseph Bates?
Yes,
He came here in
we know
about
him.
1852 and talked with Miller's wife, Lucy.
Lucy.
And she did not oppose the Sabbath, but she never could accept. You're welcome to come in. This was where they kept horses and other equipment. Yeah, the floor moves, everything here. You can see how they did their construction. This was by hand.
I can
Some of
tell.
these here, they use saws.
Saw, yeah.
And you can see how they joined.
Jim.
Jim, yes. And they would, let's see, where's our?
That one
They would
is.
cut it, overlap it, and then put one of these pegs in here.
Yes.
Oh.
And that would hold it. It's still standing here almost 175, 80 years later.
Oh, wow.
You can see the size of the horses by the shoes there and that.
Yeah, that's huge.
Oh, big shoe.
With horses,
Yeah.
yeah, they had work horses which weigh 1,500 pounds. I don't know how many kilos that is. I forget. I was translating that last week and forgot already. A horse will eat 1 to 3% of its body weight in hay every day. I have 2 ponies at my house, and I feed them a lot of hay. So you can figure how much these guys ate.
Wow.
And you see different. This is where all the things to make the horse go.
Yeah.
Hook him up to plows and disc harrows, all kinds of things.
Okay.
We'll go over to Ascension Rock.
We're going to
That
Ascension.
building there was the school for the area.
Ini
Miller's
petanda.
children went to that school, and we think Miller may have gone there some himself.
Yeah.
And we are just about to move that on Friday, move it over to the to the new welcome area. This is he started out in life as a Baptist,
Yes.
and then he became a deist. And the War of 1812, when the British were going to come back and reclaim America.
Ah.
And during that war, the deist philosophy was, you could figure things out, and there was logic and human reasoning. So in the battle at Plattsburgh, just north of here a short ways, William was there with some of his friends as soldiers. And there were 15,000 British troops and 5,000 American troops. So logic tells you who's going to win that battle. Easy. But 2 hours into the battle, the Americans had won. And so Miller began to rethink that, and when he came home, he was going to church, but not necessarily because he wanted to. His mother and his family wanted him to attend, and they would read the sermons when the minister wasn't there. They had a book of sermons, and so they would read. Miller was reading, and he was reading a sermon on family life and family responsibility and privileges, and he started crying in the sermon. He couldn't finish. It touched his heart. So that's when he decided, I'm going to take my Bible, Cruden's Concordance, and make a decision once and for all if there's a God, if the Bible's trustworthy. And that's when he studied for a couple of years, and he discovered the prophecies in Daniel. Soon after that, God began to tell him, preach, preach. He said, no, I can't. Then finally he said, if someone comes and invites me to preach, and God opens the door, I'll do it. Because he thought, I'm a justice of the peace, I'm a farmer, no one's ever going to ask me to preach. 30 minutes later, his nephew was knocking on the front door of that house and said, we need you to preach. So he got mad, and he walked into this grove of maple trees right here, and that's where he spent an hour praying and arguing with God. And finally, he left the grove, as the historians say. He came in a farmer, and he left a preacher. So they preached for the next, 20 years or so. And everyone in the world knew about this message. A lot of people knew, but others on other continents. Here in this country, Miller preached 4,500 sermons himself, spoke to over 500,000 people. Everybody knew about it, not everybody liked it. Some people loved it, some people hated it, some were kind of in between. But everybody had an opportunity to know. They knew what was coming, For the dates, the calculations were correct, but the event was wrong, as you know. So, people sold their farms, didn't harvest their potatoes, did all kinds of things thinking Jesus was going to come. Why wouldn't you? There are stories that still run around a little bit that many or most of the Advent believers gathered here in white robes and things like that, but that's not accurate. There were maybe 20, could have been as many as 40 or 50 that were on this site. Miller himself did not come out here. In 1844, he could not walk well, and he was beginning to lose his eyesight. But in his studies, he sat there at his desk and looked out the window to the east.
Okay.
So many people, many groups met in many places, not just here, but all around, anticipating Jesus' return.
Can you take a picture of us here?
I sure can. The neighbors in the community really began to call this Ascension Rock as a term of mockery. Jesus didn't come, so people had to decide what to do the next day.
And that's very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Some were,
They're giving away the farm.
everybody was, some were ridiculed, some were accepted back into their churches, some left.
Tanya apa yang dia lakukan sesudah kecewa.
What did he do after he disappointed?
He continued to study. He never lost his faith. When he studied in 1816, 17, he said, I found Jesus as a friend. And he never lost that. He was successful, famous, then not so famous, but he continued to trust Jesus. He never gave up. I admire that very much with him. About 3 years after the disappointment, they were meeting in the school and other places. Miller gave permission to build this chapel here.
Sangat
And so the chapel was built and they began to worship the Lord. And there's been different groups, but there's still a group today, the Advent Christian Church, about 25,000 denominations. They're still in existence and they still own this chapel. We do all the work.
They claim it.
And we share it with them. We're in here all the time. They come occasionally. 3 Advent Christians and 3 Seventh-day Adventists who make big decisions about this building.
kundang sir.
You're welcome to go in, take any pictures you want, stand in the pulpit. If you like, sing a song. If anybody plays, please sign the guest book here.
Is it 29?
We keep this separate guest book for the Advent Christian. The floor, the pews, and the pulpit were all original to William Miller's time. There used to be a big rocking chair that was up in the front, and that's where he would sit when he was able to attend services.
Don't touch
As
it.
I said, he was blind and pretty crippled
Lagu Indonesia di sini.
at the end of his life, so
Lagu apa?
didn't come over here a lot.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Jesus is coming soon. Pedal, mesti pedal, nak bunyi. Oh, kayak naik sepeda.
If you play, you're welcome to sit on those instruments.
Oh, still not working. No.
Apakah
The trumpet.
Jesus is coming again? Jesus is coming again. coming again, coming again. Jesus is coming again.
Nice. Good piano player. Wow. We're not 100% sure that piano was here in William Miller's time because pianos were not always accepted in that time period.
Oh, yeah.
Organs were, pianos not so much.
Yeah.
And they
I see.
gradually today we think piano is a church instrument, but it wasn't always.
Now time.
Possible
Impossible?
for a preacher.
Impossible to possible.
Okay.
Huh?
All right.
Just that?
Sampai lewat 2300 petang dan pagi.
Amen.
Lalu Ka'bah itu dibersihkan.
Amen.
Amen. Until
Bahasa Indonesia.
Hah?
Indonesia.
sampai lewat.
Ini penerjemahnya. Apa?
Jadi,
Jadi?
setelah William Miller kecewa
Aha.
tahun
1844.
1844, dia masih tetap terus mempelajari firman Tuhan,
Yeah.
menyelidiki terus firman Tuhan.
Amen.
Amin.
He's saying he still study even though he's already disappointed. We would like to take a picture at the chapel sign there.
Yes, we would be glad to do this.
Smoking and alcohol beverages prohibited. We marching. Paling dorang bawa nyanyi kan bawa tunggu. Sejam 10 malam sedek-dekan orang. Jam 11 lebih badugdak. Jam 12 kayak apa belum datang. Sampai pagi. So pagi sudah besok. Until dawn. Jerry Mobley. Mana batu ini?
Madunya begini, ini tinggi.
Mungkin. Hari ini dorang larang mau toki-toki. Kalau orang nakal kan atapela akang batu kecil kenang-kenangan.
Iya, ada ular ini pak, apa lagi?
Wait for you.
Mungkin dari sana bagus.
Hey.
Dari sini.
We heading there. Dan sekarang kita menuju ke rumahnya William Miller.
Even if they were in the fancy place, sometimes they would work because farms require a lot of work.
Yes.
This chair, this bench came from one of his parents,
Oh.
also original. The floor, as you notice, is got some very interesting artwork.
I know, yeah.
This was for
Is that a
folks.
paint or they do something?
It
with that?
it was painted with a feather, and they used the blood of an animal,
Animal's blood, huh?
animal's blood to make that.
Oh, wow.
Animal's blood.
On the door there, as you go out, is a picture of Lucy's wedding dress.
Oh, yeah, this one is
Beautiful.
beautiful in 1803.
Oh, dua lantai.
Orang sudah bisa masuk.
Most of yes, that's William. That's the matching portrait to his wife Lucy. Most of these instruments were not original, even the glasses.
Oh, it's
the books were not, but they were from that time period.
I see.
The desk is original.
Oh, okay.
This chair, this is the desk and chair that we believe he did his studies and discovered the prophecies.
Okay.
The printing already exists at that time.
A little printing, yes.
These
Difficult
little.
printing. Difficult
Little
printing.
difficult.
Like,
Not so tiny.
Bor. Oh, chart.
This is it.
Chart.
This is the 1843 chart. You know, there were 3 dates that they had chosen.
Very famous chart.
Yeah.
Miller said 1843, 1844, and then they narrowed it down as they got into the time frame. Printing, this was made from 4 different sheets, printed on a broadside print.
I see.
All the color was hand colored, hand done, because they
Wow.
didn't have color presses in those days.
No computer back then.
There were 300 of these charts made. This is one of the originals. So it was quite impressive in that day. No PowerPoint, no
Yeah.
Game Boys. So people were very impressed when they saw the Bible come to life like this.
Yeah.
This chair was also Miller's chair. This is the one that came out of the chapel. So we know he probably sat in this chair. This is the way you took your baths mostly. You
A
couldn't-
bath.
Yeah, you would just wash off. They didn't
Okay.
have showers
Shower.
and tubs, running water, not
see.
so much. You know what this thing on the floor is?
Yeah.
A teapot.
Yeah.
A commode.
Yes. Chamber pot.
Chamber pot.
If you want the fancy term. This was his bed. This is where he died.
Oh.
Several people, including Hiram Edson and others, came to visit him near the end of his life, and they report that his courage and his faith were unfailing.
Wow.
And he said, "Jesus is my friend. I expect Jesus to come anytime." And he died with that hope.
Is that a cotton in there?
This, well, his mother made this for him. A Lindsay Woolsey, made out of linen and wool. This was the customary mattress of either corn shucks or straw.
Oh, straw.
And if you, once a year usually, they would either restuff these, empty them and restuff them, or burn them.
Yeah.
And they had a saying in those
Otherwise
days,
you'll be
if
bed
you
bugs.
want to, don't let the
Take
bed
it
bugs
in,
bite.
you.
That would
Sleep,
come from here.
sleep tight.
Sleep
Don't
tight.
let the bed bugs bite
Sleep
you.
tight came from this.
Oh, because they had to tighten it up.
Had to tighten the ropes.
I see.
And if you were going to get married, you would say you're tying the knot. So you would put this
Tied
in,
up the bed, huh?
tie the knot so the bed was nice and tight for your new wife. So you have a firm bed for whatever that was.
Oh, nice.
This furniture on the wall, also some original furniture
Oh.
from his parents.
This one is.
So, yes, if you would sign our guest book here, this is for us. This was the condition of the house when we bought it in 1984. And you can see how we have it now.
His childhood home is already purchased by SDA or still
Yes, yes, we bought this at about 25 acres in 1984. Oh, I forget how many years later we bought another 122 acres. And then not too long ago we bought another 10 or 15 acres. So we have gotten back most of the original farm and home place.
Father Miller's tent, campground at Newark. Is that his handwriting? Is this his handwriting? Oh yeah, he's a captain.
He was a captain. His father was in the military. Then when he went to the Battle of Plattsburgh, War of 1812, he had enough men come with him and he proved himself to be a good leader that they gave him the rank of captain right away, pretty quick. Miller and others, Ellen White included, were part of the Underground Railroad. We still get sap from the maple trees out there and turn it into syrup.
Yeah.
They did the syrup industry here to get sugar so that it would not support the sugar plantations in the West Indies where there was
That's
slavery.
the first star, and then this is the 15th
They had to
star.
develop a local source for sugar and sweetener.
Kita mau cari tahu.
What's that mean?
Yes,
What is Hampton?
this is here. We are in Hampton, although the city is Whitehall, but it's still a Hampton township.
Okay. DP buku-buku pertama. Habis begitu sih.
Ini tuh gereja di luar di muka situ, kan?
Di mana yang tadi?
Yang di sebelah sini di downtown. Tadi udah lewat kandang.
Exhibit.
Yes.
But the key.
Oh, is it locked?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go.
Pergi aja, Mem. Supaya tolong semua keluar lah.
Apa ini?
Antique butter charm corn. Ke belakangan. Oke, sekian dulu vlog saya kali ini tentang William Miller Farm and House and Ascension Rock. I'll see you next vlog. Ciao.